This picture is taken in 1948, just after the partition of India, which is and Pakistan. This is a small village outside Bombay called Orlem, Malad. My dad is on the right side and I'm 8 years old on my dad's left side. And my dad is holding my nephew, and the picture is taken by one of our family members. It was a village, and this place where we lived had no sanitations and no plumbing. I had to fetch water from the well every evening, which well was away for 20 minutes or so, and I had to take a couple of buckets to fill water. It was a miserable way to live, coming from what we had in Pakistan, or I should say Sindh, where we had everything, and living in a village where there was no bathroom, no sanitation, no plumbing, no hot water. It was a miserable existence. This black and white picture is of myself, taken by my sister. We upgraded ourselves from that village in Malad to a place now called Worli, which is in the city. This place was also on the fourth floor, where I had to fetch water from the ground floor up there to the fourth floor every evening. But it was a better place than Malad. At least the roof wasn't leaking. But still, this place had no plumbing or hot water, or we had to share bathroom, toilets with other occupants of the fourth floor. This is a picture of myself with my mum and my best friend. This picture is taken on 12th of July 1960 on a French ship going to Marseilles. And this is the day I left India for good to London to make myself a better life. Growing up in India during that period of partition or after the partition was pretty tough for my mom and dad, and experiencing poverty, I had the chance and opportunity to go to London. I had no money in my pocket except 10 shillings to go to London. It was a big risk, but I was looking forward to make myself a better life. This is myself on my arrival in London, settling down with my nephew who had a house. And this is the back of the house where I was playing with a little Irish girl. Her name was Kathleen, and she was one of the boarders in my cousin's house. This is July 1960 in London. Well, living there, I decided to find myself some employment, which my cousin helped me. So I found a job in a biscuit factory, and that was my humble beginning. This is a picture taken by a friend of mine working together in a photo lab. I upgraded myself from factory to photo lab because I had some photographic knowledge and experience. I was lucky enough to find a job in this photo lab printing black and white prints and processing black and white films and prints. This is 1961 in London, Finchley. In 1964, I had this opportunity with three of my friends to go to India by car. The car was Morris 1100, which was bought by my friend on export. So we decided to take a land journey to Karachi, Pakistan. We drove through France, crossed Dover, and Austria, Bulgaria, Turkey, and Afghanistan, and to Karachi. From Karachi, I flew to Bombay, and this picture you see is in Beirut on my return back to London. This was 1965 because the plane had stopped for some technical reasons, and the airline gave us an air hotel to stay for 3 days. This is a picture on my wedding day, October 5th, 1968. This is a real story that I have to tell you in a short. When I came back from India in 1965, went for a medical checkup, and my doctor discovered that I had TB. So I went to the hospital to be cured, during which time I met Susan, which you see in the picture, is now my wife. Staying in hospital for about less than a year, I came to know Susan, who was a nurse in the hospital, and eventually we got together and we got married. This is my first house in Toronto, Canada, after arriving as immigrants from London in 1975. As you can see, coming from small village to Canada has been a quite adventurous and prosperous trip. Having this first house for myself and my family was pride and joy. Although it was cold, snowy and shoveling, it didn't bother me because it was new, and it gave me a lot of happiness that at least I had a good roof over my head and for the family. So snow and cold didn't bother me at that time. This was the holiday in 1981 in front of Mount Rushmore with my 3 kids, 2 born in London, 1 born in Scarborough. It was a good holiday after working hard in Canada from 75 to 81. We went to Mount Rushmore, North Dakota, and all from back to Iowa, where we stayed with our friends. Along the way, we visited House of the Rock, which was an amazing sightseeing. This is the latest picture of my family, and now we have 3 grandkids, all 3 beautiful daughters. Looking at the picture and going back to old memories from Partition to Bombay and having good family around, it makes me really happy.